Okay, so here we are. Welcome to the section 1 of module 11, week 11 in a project management professional training and certification program. So in this section, we're going to be looking at the first process in the project risk management, which is the plan risk management. Okay, so we're going to be looking at how to plan the way we're going to manage our risks in the project management process. Okay, so let's go. Now, first is an overview of what this process is about, the plan risk management. In this section, we lay the groundwork for effective risk management throughout the project life cycle. Now, the plan risk management process involves defining how to conduct risk management activities for a project, outlining the roles and responsibilities, and establishing a clear methodology for managing risks. Okay, so it has to do with defining how to conduct the risk management activity, what activity that we'll be engaging in, all right, as far as this particular project is concerned. And then we're also going to be outlining the roles and responsibilities. It involves outlining roles and responsibilities. Who is going to do what, all right, in terms of managing the risks inherent in a project, and then establishing methodology for the process. Now, by the end of this section, you should be able to understand the purpose and importance of the plan risk management process. Why is it important? What is the purpose? Okay. We also identify the inputs, tools, and techniques, as well as the outputs of this process. And lastly, you learn how to establish clear methodology for managing risks. Right, so let's move on. Now, what are the objectives of this process, the plan risk management process? Now, the first objective is to define the approach and plan for risk management. What approach are you going to adopt as a project manager? And what is your plan for managing the risks inherent in your project? Identify roles and responsibilities for risk management. Okay, so second objective is to identify who is going to handle what, all right, and what activities they are going to be involved in for managing the risks. Establish criteria for risk prioritization and assessment. So what's your criteria for prioritizing risks? There could be many risks involved in the project. So which one comes first? Which one are you going to pay attention to first and then second? All right, from the order of their severity, all right, and the magnitude of the adverse impact they could have on the project. So you're going to set your priority in that order, okay? And then of course you're going to have to assess the magnitude of that impact, and then develop a risk management plan that aligns with project objectives. Okay, so you always have your project objective in view. Whatever it is that you're doing, you must want to ensure that it aligns with the project objectives at the end of the day. So when you're setting up your risk management plan, it has to be in alignment with your project objectives. All right, so let's look at the inputs. So what inputs do we use for this particular process? Firstly, we have the project management plan. This is a document that provides an overall direction and guidance on how risk management activities will be structured, performed, and monitored. Okay, at the beginning of the project, you have your project management plan. Now, like we've already established before, the project management plan is a plan that encompasses the whole project from beginning to end. Okay, so within the project management plan, you now have various plans depending on which area you're working on at a particular time. So when we're zeroing in on risk management, and we're talking about plan risk management, and the objective is to come up with a risk management plan, all right, then of course it's going to have to be an offshoot of the project management plan. Okay, so you have to have the foundation, the basis of the plan, which is the project management plan. That's why it serves as an input here. Stakeholder register identifies potential individuals or groups with an interest in the project and captures their expectations and concerns. Okay, so you ought to have the stakeholder register to be able to know who are the individuals and groups that are involved in this project, what are their expectations, okay, what are their concerns in this project. Also, we have the organizational process assets, OPA, and this includes the historical information, templates and lessons learned from previous projects that can influence the approach to risk management. So this organizational process asset is very important in the sense that you have a whole lot of information based on the projects that have been handled in the past and what their approach towards risk management were at the time of execution of this project. All right, so that's why it comes handy. OPAs come very handy when you're trying to gather information and setting up and organizing your approach for managing risk. Okay, now let's look at the tools and techniques for plan risk management. First is expert judgment, and this involves inputs from individuals or groups with expertise in risk management or the specific project area. So we have experts who are into risk management, all right? So you may want to get them involved and get their inputs as you are planning your risk management. Data gathering. This includes techniques like brainstorming, interviews, and surveys to collect information about potential risks. Right, so you have to learn these techniques, all right, and be able to use them to gather data and information. Brainstorming, simply putting heads together, shooting off ideas and educing and eliciting ideas from each other, all right, by looking at a particular subject critically. All right, so that's brainstorming. Then of course interviews, interacting with people, asking questions, getting feedbacks, all right, based on their perspective, based on their experiences and all of that. And then of course survey, just surveying the landscape with relevant questions and then getting answers to those questions. And of course it's all about the potential risks. Then we have data analysis, and this involves methods such as SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And the essence of the SWOT analysis is to assess the current environment. All right, now let's look at the output of this process. Definitely you guess right, the output of the plan risk management process is what? The risk management plan. And these are documents, all right, which holds the approaches, roles and responsibilities, budgeting, timing, and risk categories for the project. All right, so the risk management plan is a document, and that document has the approaches, all right, how are you going to address the identified risks? The roles and responsibilities, who is going to be involved in addressing the identified risks? Budgeting, how much is going to be involved? The timing, what is the duration? All right, for us to tackle this challenge. And then of course the categories, of the risks for the project. So you want to know all that. Okay. All right, so what are the key takeaways from the plan risk management process? The risk management plan is a dynamic document that should be revisited and updated as the project progresses. So even though it's a document, a working document, you have to keep revisiting and updating at every phase in the project. Effective communication and engagement with stakeholders are critical for successful risk management plan. Okay, so you have to be able to communicate effectively. You have to be able to engage with stakeholders effectively, to have successful outcome. And lastly, a well-defined risk management plan enhances the project's team's ability to proactively identify and address potential risks. Okay, so you have to really organize your risk management plan very, very well, right? And this helps to it gives your project team that ability, that agility to be proactive in risk identification and mitigation. Okay, so that's it for this section. I'll see you in the next section. Cheers.